We are so pleased to bring out the fruits of George's labor here. George I'm one of his staunchest fan club members. George has written news articles, press releases, fiction, poetry. He's wonderful at all of them. If you ever seen a George Yatchison press release, it's pure art. In all seriousness, I've worked with George through the film festival, through arts and lectures for the last 20 years, and it's a pleasure. And it's always been such a great pleasure of mine to work with somebody who's so passionate about not only poetry, but prose and any of the written words. So I'm very, very pleased to have George introduce the speakers and host tonight's event. So please give it up for George Yatchison.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, as he said, everything is reciprocal. He's always been a God among men to work with and to help us do this. And thank you, Chaucer's, not only for giving this book a place to have its official public debut, but also for celebrating so many local writers, not just the ones in this room.
And presses.
And presses. We are so lucky to have Chaucer's in this world where too many people think that a book can only arrive at their doorstep 24 hours after it's ordered.
Right.
We all need to know that books and reading are really all about the gift and appreciation of time, which we don't appreciate enough. So, please purchase the book from Chaucer's tonight. And you can hunt down as many poets as you can to sign the copy afterwards, because while 10 people are reading tonight, how many people have a poem in the book? Raise your hand. All right. There's a lot of other poets here too, so feel free to bug them and they can sign their things. I've got a lot of living up to do to match everything that Mike said about me. Let's see if I can do it. One of the great things about this book and this anthology, about which we're having a hoopla about tonight, is it has work from all 9 living poet laureates, which is great, and then 108 other writers, too. That's what thrills me about it. It's truly a wide-ranging, far-flung community gathered in these pages and in this room. You see, my favorite things to do in the world are read, write, eat, and drink.
Yeah.
Hola. As poet laureate, a project like this was absolutely necessary. I always have to give a shout out, huge shout out, to Santa Barbara's own mighty poetry publishing house, Gunpowder Press.
Yay!
They do so many things in addition to creating a great book like this. So if you don't know Gunpowder, look them up. I also want to tip my cap to Krista Harris, founding publisher of Amble Santa Barbara, who wrote the foreword for the book. And of course, all 3 of them have mighty fine poems in the book too, of course. So let's just get to the poems here. We've got 10 readers. They will read in reverse alphabetical order. I will read their bios that are taken from the back of the book, which often mentioned a favorite food or drink in them. So when you hear that, don't think like, why is everybody, well, of course they're right about food and drink. I made them do that. We're going to do it in 2 5-writer clumps. So I'm going to read 5 intros, and then we'll just have those readers come up. I'll come back and read the next 5, because that's like short-term memory that works, right? 5, supposedly. Maybe mine it's 3 now, but let's pretend it's 5. Some of you are younger. So, our first 5 readers will be Valerie Zell. Valerie is a 6th grade student at Mountain View Elementary. Valerie loves painting with watercolor and playing with her pets. Her favorite food is bifa and, of course, lilikoi from the island of Kauai. That's her poem, you'll see. Poetry is expressing herself in a way that feels vibrant and free. Next will be Ariel Phoenix. Ariel is a writer, poet, podcast host, and educational rights advocate from Houston, Texas. Her work uplifts marginalized voices and sparks meaningful dialogue, rooted in a deep commitment to justice, creativity, and healing. A lover of tacos, music, and the ocean, Ariel draws inspiration from rhythm, soul, and the ever-changing tides of life. Through her words and advocacy, she invites others to rise, fierce, fearless, and free. Our third reader will be Elizabeth Perez. Elizabeth is a Cuban-American writer and associate professor at UCSB. Her favorite Santa Barbara food is sea urchin.
Yum.
Avona alum, she has published poetry in journals and 2 edited volumes, including El Coro, a chorus of Latino and Latina poetry in 2024. Perez was a finalist for Wesleyan University Press's Cardinal Poetry Prize for the manuscript Lesson in Cuban Cosmology, 52 poems, and a villanelle. The villanelle like sad, it's like, I'm a poem too, why am I getting sick of that? In 2025, she was named a finalist in Gunpowder Press's Alta California Chapbook Prize for her submission Refugee Lotteries. Perez is also the author of 2 award-winning scholarly books on Afro-diasporic religions. Next reader after Elizabeth, Enid Osborne. Enid served as Poet Laureate of Santa Barbara in 2017 to 2019. She has 2 books in print, When the Big Wind Comes and Pedregosa Street, and she co-edited A Bird Black as the Sun, California Poets on Crows and Ravens. Her poems appear mainly in West Coast journals and anthologies. Enid worked 10 years for the Isla Vista Recreation and Park District as coordinator of the Community Garden Project. That will become important for her poem. Before that, she worked for the Ivy Food Co-op. Her favorite food is baby lettuce. Juliana Moore. Juliana is a student artist and florist in Santa Barbara, as well as alumna of Westmont College. You can find her work on Instagram at Art by Juliana AJM and watch her playing rugby with the Santa Barbara Mermaids or arranging flowers at Hoke and Company. So, those are the 5 readers we're going to have come up. I hope you guys remember who you come after. If not, I can prompt you. But that means come on up, Valerie. You are our first reader. Standards, whatever makes everybody comfortable. That's what.
Read loud.
Yes, just remember there's no.
What page?
133.
Thank you.
Okay.
133.
Lillipoy. People don't know who you truly are. They overlook you for being gross looking. They don't know who you are. Then when I tell them, they say, passion fruit? No. Your name is Lillipoy. People don't see it. They see how you were renamed, not the part of you I see. Purple wrinkles like a grandmother's hand, and cut open, yellow goo, slime like a jellyfish, sweet as a honeysuckle. You remind me of Hawaii, the warm rain pouring down on my hair, the soft sweet breeze of ocean water overlapping on my feet. When I slurp down the sweet goo inside you, I feel summer. I jump up and down when I see you at the market. I plead and plead until I can feel the wrinkles of the peels in my hand. You are my fruit. I can't really overlook you. Never. I always need you. I feel happiness sitting in my mouth like a sweet summer day I won't ever forget.
I'm so excited. Thank you. So, hello, good evening. My name is Ariel Phoenix, and as I try to remember where my poem is, I think it's 78. That feels right. Oh, 78.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, this poem is actually about my very first time at the market on State Street. I'm new to Santa Barbara, so a lot of the things that you guys are probably used to is brand new for me. And so this was my very first time. So, page 78, Miracle in the Market. It was Saturday, late April air. Soft sun danced through my flowered hair. A gentle breeze, light as jasmine's sigh, whispered sweet nothings as it wound by. In white dress trimmed with blooming grace, heels kissed the pavement, slow in pace. Crowds turned and smiled while their glances stayed. receiving compliments and smiles as I sashayed. I was on cue. We strolled from Overstate, hands tight, through Paseo's charm, bathed in golden light. He knew them all, each soul, each name. No two greetings felt the same. We tasted fresh berries and figs and dates. Each bite tasted like love as it softly waits. Like my first California sunrise, my spirit was made anew. So right, so real, so organically true. Then I spotted roses, blush in pink and white. And much like my dress, with the colors just right, I breathed them in, eyes closed and heart bare. Love's fragrance swirling all in my air. I turned to see him wink and pay. Keep the change, he laughed, and he turned my way. And sudden as sound, a kiss became me, bold and pure. And from that moment, Santa Barbara, I was all yours.
Lovely.
Thank you so much. Hello. My poem is on page 104. Portrait of the artist as Citrus Grove. And I did write it looking out the window at an orange tree. Portrait of the artist as Citrus Grove. Some days she is an orange blossom, shrill with the aroma of neroli oil, oversensitive petals, cascading at the slightest tap. Some days she is navel oranges, toddler proud of their outy belly buttons, flashing them to any and all. Other days, someone's media naranja, half of one sundered fruit, segments spread eagle, dually riven down to the seeds. After the grafting of the lemon scion onto the mandarin cutting, of the Eureka onto the Cleopatra, of the beauty onto the grief, she sprouts into a limon leaf, a staple of her grandmother's tisanes, now neglected for its medicine. One day a year, a batch of marmalade divvied up between neighbors. Monthly, she sops herself up into the throbbing hangnail of a farm laborer, with the fruit leather face of her uncle Manolo, who died of tomato pesticide cancers after harvesting nightshades in Central Florida for a decade in the 1990s. She often becomes the withered shoot, in denial about its death. Only once, the word that will emerge someday to rhyme perfectly with orange.
Wow! Look at everybody. I'm Enid Osborne, and as George said, I worked for the community garden in Isla Vista for the Park District out there. World Peas at the Isla Vista Community Garden.
Page.
Oh, 55. Page 55. It's so good to see you all here. This is actually a journal entry rather than a poem. And that's his fault. He picked it. Longtime Hmong gardeners occupy the East End. They have little to do with the district, but pass their rich soil to family members who keep to the old plantings. Asian pumpkin, coriander, mustard. The Korean gardener built a trellis for his wrinkled chayote. He shared a recipe at last fall's potluck. All the rage, new trellises sprang out. Mexican gardeners plant in rows and ditches corn, frijoles, chilies, zooks, tomatillos, tidy little farms tended by parents and young children. Students rotate compost, import worm castings, grow veg to replenish the soil. Rich dirt is priceless. The poet sits in a grove of tall mugwort, makes notes and sips comfrey spearmint tea from a mason jar. Her sunflowers grow inches per day in a race with nearby asparagus shoots. The French gardener passes cooking herbs over the fence she trades for aloe. He shows his little daughter how to tell a weed from a crop plant.
Huh.
Now, at the sunset hour, we are 10 gardeners out of 28, working happily. Some prune to the sound of weary bees. Others throw water and chat with neighbors. Tomato vines wither in sea air. Who has a remedy? Talitha's fire-red passion fruit is about to bloom. She tends her paradise of exotics. We sharpen our hoes to battle kikuyu in the sandy backplots. Fauna, honeybees in comfrey, cat in catmint, scrub jay in sunflowers, topo in carrots and glads, earwig in asparagus, cabbage white in wild ginger, hummingbird in sage, snail in chard, golden carpenter bee in lavender, red-shouldered hawk, quiet for now, waits on a low post for the gopher to show. Tomorrow we hold a class on complementary plantings. New gate signs are on order. Blue borage stars and multi-sweet peas are faves. Plant more of these next year.
I am on page 28. It's called I Fell in Love at Brophy Bros. Sure.
Yeah.
With the boys sitting across from me, but really, truly, deeply, with the clams placed before me. The tangy broth, the tender morsels, the rich butter. But more than that, the moonlight on the water and the lamplight on the dock that we had just danced under. The night was young, the mood was right, and the clams were perfect. Alas, summer swept in, boiling and breaking that boy and I apart. And so I needed something new, fresh clams for a fresh start. I had not far to go, to the fish market just down the way, a recipe for stuffed clams to fill my empty heart. I ate them doused in wine with the crunch of bacon bits, tipsy on the summer sun. I felt whole again. I've been back since to visit Brophy Bros. I'll admit, the moon didn't seem quite as bright, but the same swirling sea seemed to say that wasn't true, because those clams, those perfect briny bites, they were still just right.
So, halfway through, you all having a good time?
Yeah.
Pretty amazing, and the range of stuff is just always amazed doing this. So, our second 5 readers shall be Monica Modi. Monica's the author of the full-length poetry collections Wild Fin and Bright Parallel and the cross-genre Kali Pan. Her poems have appeared in numerous anthologies, including the Penguin Book of Modern Indian Poets and Future Library Contemporary Indian Writing, and in publications such as Poetry International, Indian Quarterly, and Boston Review. The awards her poetry has won include the Sparks Prize Fellowship from Notre Dame, the Zora Neale Hurston Award from Naropa, and the Toto Award for Creative Writing in English. Next reader will be Lillian Kurosaka. Lillian, after retiring as a writer-photographer at UCSB, volunteered for hospice and worked at an inpatient hospice house. She found solace in writing as a way to honor a patient's passing and to digest being human in all ways. She's completing a book of poetry and prose on hospice patients and families she's met in the past 25 years. Her favorite restaurant is Arigato, and she writes, "Their food tastes exquisite and presentation is eye-satisfying. Arigato continues to be my go-to special place since it opened 40 years ago." We're all old. At least our next reader will be Simon Kiefer. Oh, there you go. You were here and I lost you. Simon is a former urban planner who worked in New York and then Santa Barbara. In retirement, he has embraced typewriters and poetry, as I'm sure you know. He offers writing workshops for anyone from teens to seniors, and he can often be found with his wife, Karenina, typing impromptu poetry at the Tuesday evening farmers market in downtown Santa Barbara. So perfect marriage of food and poetry. The market supplies him with tomatoes he sauces for pasta. He serves with chilled California Chardonnay, his ever favorites. Our next reader after that will be Rebecca Horrigan. Back there somewhere. Rebecca is an English teacher and writer. She writes for the Santa Barbara Independent and has been published in the Los Angeles Times. She enjoys practicing yoga, listening to music, and exploring nature. And her favorite Santa Barbara drink is a crisp Topa Kernza lager on a Friday in the sun.
Yum.
And our final reader will be C. Gumucio. C is a poet, artist, and teacher, and as teacher, she's the one who brought the students into this book, so we owe C a big round of applause. Her art installations incorporate poetry, video, and performance. She curated a TEDx event, Rediscovery of the Senses, in Los Angeles. Her solo art exhibit, Writers in Search of the Sacred, explored the convergence of art, writing, and the sacred. Her poems are published in a variety of poetry anthologies. Prior to becoming a poet teacher with Cal Poets in the Schools, she won awards for writing in the film and television industry. A spice-infused slurp of northern Thai curry noodle from empty bowl never fails to dazzle her senses. So, that's the next 5. Monica,
Hi everyone, my poem is Guest of the Land. It's on page 105, I believe. And since it is about the land, let's just take a second to read the land like this, or like this, or like that, whatever you want to. Guest of the land. We've lost patience / time to make it from scratch. Not our appetite for the food. Hunger for the familiar burrows its soft head into our shoulders, ridges undersides with its unfussy beak. It is old like the song of paddy fields, old like missives of the cloud. It is keen for reverence, not just Epicurean taste. These secrets travel with bodies. We are seeking the flavor of intimacy that anchors us into a continuing story. There is nothing sentimental about this eating. It is a matter of survival. Food exchanges hands in Santa Barbara parking lots. Food is comfort and metal, measure of heritage that does not encumber. This common language passes between us, almost absent-minded. Nothing else need be said. Once home, we scoop out the aloo gobi and chole from plastic containers and heat them up. Aroma, home, wafts amongst us. Gujarat is sometimes here, or Maharashtra, or Bengal, Punjab, Bihar. Specifics of cuisine consecrate us back into woven collective memory. With care, each meal sates a guest of the land, like us. Yay! Wow. Hi. Hi. My poem, Abalone Good Times, is on page 132. And I'll read it from a bigger font.
Abalone good times. At 20, we didn't know we had questions, but the answer to everything was the beach. Agitated minds and conflicted hearts were soothed in the cold Pacific. The sun melted away most grievances. Beach volleyball and throwing frisbees helped, and the barbecue at day's end resolved the rest. We'd wait for low tide, search algae-covered boulders for abalone. No need to dive deep to find them. After we gathered enough to feed us all and make a rich broth, many hands cleaned and pounded the mollusks thin. Vague memory of what came next, something to do with seaweed and lots of butter and garlic. A beer run was in progress. Pot permeated the air. Somebody brought lemons and avocados from their yard. Bread arrived for sopping up everything. Soon, everyone's elbows and fingers were jostling for abalone broth. Eating, laughing, singing, until our bodies, minds, and spirits surrender to the night.
A lot of people here. It's nice to see so many people interested in poetry. So thank you all for coming. My poem is on page 83. And who doesn't love a good food fight? For 45 years now, every August, a Tomatino festival is held in Spain. Thousands descend on tiny buñol to hurl overripe tomatoes at each other. Soft and bursting, red round missiles fly. Some dare to wear white. Some couples even sit on the cobblestones and kiss. An irresistible, fresh, new target. As for me, I'd rather sauce them than toss them. For my own festival Tomatino, I cradle tender heirloom softies, farmer's market fingerprints still fresh. I chop them with garlic, and more garlic still, into a pan of sizzling oil. And after 5 hours of simmering to Miles Davis horn, they reduce to a dense, sweet jam. I ladle onto farfalle al dente, shower with Parmigiano Romano, and reach for Chardonnay sourced from butter and oak. Broad, savory flavors perfectly paired with family and friends, gathered around an endless summer evening al fresco. Fully sated, we roast each other and hurl soft tomato insults at each other with teasing, loving winks.
All right, thank you all for coming. It's so good to see such a packed house. Wow, this is great. My poem is on page 87. It is called Dinner in the Yard, and it's dedicated to my dear friends who are sitting lovingly in the front, Anna and Nipatro, and they make the most amazing dinners at their house, and it's better than any restaurant you could ever go to in Santa Barbara, so it's an honor of them. All right, Dinner in the Yard. Driving to your house, worries fly into the rear view on the 101. Ocean is my right hand, mountains are my left. Anxious hum of my inner highway, alchemized to presence in the sea salt air. Exiting San Isidro Road, exiting reality, or perhaps just entering a better version of it. Jasmine, lemon, eucalyptus, doors open, arms open, hearts open, open bottle of bubbles, mixed with your persimmons, your limes, your scientific brain's concoction of dreams, savored, sandwiched together on the couch. The yard stretches gracious arms out to the green avocado trees. The golden citrus-soaked mountains coax out life's juiciness, while flames ignite. Succulent steak, oversized, just right burgers, tender as a peach halibut. The grill, a turntable, spun by a zealous meat master maestro. Fresh oat bakery bread, a warm familiar friend. You, my warm familiar friends, who need no butter, no salt. For buttery, salty generosity, the fat and flavor of life seeps easily from your hands, from your smiles, as we drink the Los Olivos Cuvée Le Bec you've been saving, but never too long. Dessert? No room, but always room for fresh strawberries on warm biscuits, pile on the pillowy whipped cream, tucked in under the Santa Barbara stars.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Oh, it's so good to see y'all. George, thank you so much for having this book of anthology. And thank you so much for including the students, especially Valerie, who's here tonight. And the poem I'll read tonight is called Still Wild. It's on page 85. Still wild. Each spice, each savory broth, each tender splurting tomato, slippery, silken, translucent onion splattering the front of my shirt. Yes, I embraced deliciousness. And the chatty winemaker next door who made a generous pour and read my tongue like a palm reader. I told him that I preferred reds, Syrahs, and Cabs, and he predicted that I grilled and glazed my Brussels sprouts sticky with maple syrup and bacon, please. How did he know? How did he know? Remember that? I'd like another. And somewhere amidst the glinting silverware and reverent silences, I almost forgot how I missed rinsing soapy dishes and waking up alongside you. Oh, to live amongst the grape-infused, sun-soaked, unabashedly sensuous, with all their raggedy, torn tendrils clinging to this still, wild earth. Yay!
So, I bet you're all hungry and thirsty now.
Yeah.
Let's hear it one more time for all our
Yeah.
That's not even a tenth of the book, right? Because there's 117 people in there. So,
Shall we sign some books out in the main room then?
yeah, I
for
guess
all the
anybody who wants
authors?
to sign books, you can do that, right? And we don't, no questions, right? Good. Okay.
One more hand for George Yachis.